Hello, Beyond the Gates fans. We have two great episodes to talk about of Beyond the Gates. The last 2 days we'll be discussing yesterday, Tuesday's episode, and today, Wednesday's episode, as I feel like we continue a really good build to May Sweeps these last two episodes. It has given me kind of renewed energy for some of these stories going into May Sweeps for me. Hopefully for the rest of y'all too. As usual, please support the Patreon, patreon.com/OCGTV. Watch old soap operas with me. And also, I'll be putting another trailer for The Traders game coming to the channel next month. But let's talk about Beyond the Gates. Yesterday's episode, a lot was going on. There was a lot of characters in yesterday's episode. I'll try and cover some of it. The main thing we're going to talk about is, of course, my favorite story, and it is the A story on the show. That is Dana messing with Nicole and Ted as we get closer and closer to what should be next week's anniversary party for Ted and Nicole. Dana and Eva continue to bicker about it. Dana's already spending Ted's money that he gave her to leave town. She bought a dress for Eva to wear to the anniversary party next week. She's saying she could spend this money because they're about to get so much money out of Ted when it's revealed that Eva is his child. Nicole texted Eva to come to the club to go over the guest list for the party. Dana figured that out by reading Eva's text and showed up as Sherry Carter again. One of her first disguises on the show. And the big thing is that Eva ran into Sherry at the country club, freaked out, wanted Dana to leave. Dana said she would leave. Eva saw her leave, but then she snuck back in at the end of yesterday's episode to run into Nicole. That's where today's episode picked up with them. Sherry talking to Nicole that Nicole turned her life around and now she has a renewed purpose in life. And this is the last time Nicole's going to see Sherry around. Maybe this is because Nicole's either going to see one of her other many dozen disguises, or maybe Nicole will be seeing the real Dana at this anniversary party next week. Now, what built some more tension, though, between mother and daughter in Dana and Eva is that Eva then saw Dana again after she told Eva she would leave. She saw Nicole and Dana talking. Eva was afraid that Ted was about to walk in on them, but Dana left right on time. But then Eva went home upset with her mom today at the end of today's episode. Because Dana does keep lying to her. Eva called her out on it because she was still saying that she left the club when Eva asked her to. But Eva saw her again. And in typical Dana gaslighting style, she tried to gaslight Eva at the end of today's episode, being offended that Eva was yelling at her. How dare Eva talk to her this way? So we continue to create tension between these two. And like I said, I think in my last video, I'm wondering that when Dana does take down Nicole and Nicole's world starts to crumble some, she might do it to herself. She might be losing Eva, losing all her friends if it comes out that she is the one that's been causing havoc in Laura's life. There's a lot of possibilities to come out of the climax of the story, the initial climax of the story, if the truth is revealed at the anniversary party. But I do think these two episodes have built some more momentum for that story being the A story going into May Sweeps. Now, something that just happened in yesterday's episode, it wasn't on today, but I definitely want to talk about it, was Bill and Tomas. First of all, loved Kat giving it to Bill yesterday about the women getting their way with Bill in the workplace, the women in the workplace getting a win. Thomas tried to play it off cool to Bill because he wasn't trying to cause tension between him and Bill with his potential girlfriend, Kat. I don't know if they're really a boyfriend and girlfriend at this point. I guess they're a modern day situationship or whatever the kids call them. But Kat definitely, I think, got Tomas in a little bit of trouble with Bill. But I did want to say that it's nice to see Kat giving her, she's an Aries, her Aries tongue to someone other than Eva. You know, she does get on my nerves when she's too much of an uppity bitch with Eva. But to see her dish it to Bill was nice to see. Even though I love both characters, I really do love Kat and Bill. It's just that when it comes to Eva, she's my main squeeze right now on the show. So, but Bill pulled Tomas into the office and wants Tomas to go undercover with the women who are coming back to the workplace with the settlement to, like, they're going to form the new, I guess, rules of the company when it comes to women in the workplace and all that. But Bill kind of wants to break his own settlement by having a spy in on that new, I don't want to call it a board, but whatever the women are going to be doing for the company. Tomas was reluctant to be a spy for Bill in that situation, but Bill was kind of pushing that if Tomas wants to be a partner of the firm, this is the kind of stuff he's going to have to do. So, of course, Tomas will give in and end up doing that for Bill. Finally adds a more interesting dynamic for the Tomas character. He's still Mr. Roboto to me when it comes to his acting, but that will hopefully build a new layer to the character if the actor can pull it off. I don't know. But more interesting is that when he went to Kat, he did not bring this new agreement with Bill up to Kat, kind of lied about what their meeting was about. So the potential for tension between he and Kat, if that comes out in the future, could be intriguing as well. They also continued to add the possibility that Haley is pregnant, which I honestly kind of hope she is. I think that adds more dynamics to her and Bill. She also overheard Tomas and Bill, and Haley herself was questioning what Bill was doing with Tomas and the women. But Haley's going to take a long time before she's ever back into my good graces, because she just continues to act like a victim when she's never won. So, yeah. Anything else interesting happened yesterday before we get to today's episode? At the end of Monday, Anita was singing again. Now a talent agent kind of wants Anita to start singing live again, going by her stage name again, Anita Williams. I'm glad that Tamara Tooney is getting her own story finally after 2 months, but I'm not that intrigued by it quite yet. Andre visited Danny. They were doing one of their hookups again. The most interesting part of that conversation, which was another potential build to May Sweeps, although I don't know if it will come out quite yet, is that when Chelsea texted Danny that she was coming over, Danny and Andre had a discussion if Andre should stay, if their little secret should come out in the open, if he should stay there and they just play it off why he's there again. He ended up leaving, though. But that is definitely a reveal I'm looking forward to as well. It could further a wedge in Nicole's life that her nephew, by marriage, is hooking up with her sister. It's going to be an interesting dynamic when that comes out as well. Now, with the Chelsea story, she didn't want to give in to Kat that they should hire her mother, Danny, as the chief marketing officer for their new endeavor. But all of that worrying was for nothing, because when she told Danny that she wanted her to be the chief marketing officer for the company, Danny turned her down because Danny does want to go ahead with the modeling agency with Pamela. Now, I said this last week, I'll say it again. Not intrigued yet by all these characters changing jobs. It's too much like modern day Young and the Restless for me. Everybody wants a new company, a new job. That's not interesting. You gotta give me more than that. Like, even Bill's case being dropped so quickly, or at least the fact that he's not going to go head to head with Naomi, was kind of a waste of a job storyline. So, unless there's going to be some interesting storylines coming out of Chelsea's endeavor or Pamela and Danny's modeling agency, it's like ho hum for me if I care enough about their new jobs. So they have to give me actual storylines there first before I could be excited about that. Something I am excited about, though, as we get close to May Sweeps again, they've brought back Chelsea's little throuple storyline, which we haven't seen for several weeks now. She met up again with that couple, the same husband and wife that she hooked up with over a month ago at this point, I think. I'm glad they're following back up on this. I don't know how far they'll go with the dynamics of this relationship that Chelsea's hooking up with a couple. They continue to make it seem like the wife is more into Chelsea than the man is. She even slapped Chelsea's ass at the end of today's episode, which was funny. I don't know if this will be some sort of storyline that leads Chelsea to danger, or maybe the wife wanting Chelsea more than she wants the husband, which would be great for an American daytime soap opera. Either way, though, I'm glad they brought this back into the show, and I hope we get more follow-ups going into May Sweeps, because it is more of the more, I guess, controversial topics, especially for American daytime at this point. But also just intriguing to me personally. I also like that Chelsea has this kind of in common with her mother. Anytime Danny is going through it, A, she turns to drinking because she's an alcoholic. But B, she turns to hooking up with Andre. Now Chelsea, here she is, every time she wants to blow off some steam about something going wrong than what she anticipated, she wants to hook up with someone too. In this case, her little throuple thing. So she has that in common with her mother, which I find good writing from the show. Today was also more of Doug and Vanessa's storyline. And first of all, just to get it over with quickly, Joey finally talked to Vanessa about possibly being partners with her at her realtor company. Once again, this is kind of more like the whole modeling agency storyline. These work storylines, this one though, I guess does have more intrigue because Joey's a clear villain and he might end up screwing Vanessa out of her own company, or at least laundering money and getting Vanessa in trouble. So while it is similar to that, at least we do have that different dynamic for this story. But on the Doug side of things, this man, so he ran into Andre. They had a talk about Doug's broken hand and how Andre didn't know how Doug was going to deal with the adversity of not being able to do his job for a while. Then Andre dropped a scratch ticket. Doug picked it up. Andre gave it to Doug and said maybe Doug could turn his luck around. And it did. Doug won $50,000 from the scratch ticket. But in typical Doug fashion, he decided, instead of just getting the money and giving it to Joey, no, he was going to bet on a horse. And Randy tried to advise him against this, his pal Randy. But Doug didn't go for that, and thus Doug lost the money, and now he's going to be in a hole again. So if the show was trying to get me to not feel sorry for Doug when the inevitable bad things start happening with Joey even more, they succeeded. But also, they finally gave Doug and Vanessa a love scene. We've seen Vanessa always going out on her marriage with what's-his-ass from the club, Diego. But now to actually see her and Doug have some real love in their marriage was a nice change of pace too. So I'm glad we got the added dynamics to their relationship, that they can get busy still, despite the problems Vanessa seems to have with their marriage. But then we also saw Doug be a fool, and now his actions are going to have consequences when he could have at least gave Joey a down payment. And as we build towards May sweeps, I've seen some chatter online, and I felt the same way before we saw this chatter, that if there's going to be someone killed off the show sooner rather than later, it might be old Dougie. And I think that is something that can add stakes to the storyline. But my problem with that is that I actually find the actor that plays Doug to be one of the stronger male actors on the show. Because to me, the male actor side of the show is far weaker than the woman side of the show. So I would honestly put Doug in my top 5 of male actors. It's Bill first, and then it's probably, maybe I'm forgetting someone, but after him, it's like a toss-up between Smitty and Doug for me as the better male actors on the show. Yes, I would put them ahead of Vernon. Bill's the best actor on the show, far and away, Timon. But I do think Doug is one of the best actors, too. I did forget that Derek and Ashley were on today, too. Like, just riveting scenes of them going over a survey in a magazine, a couple survey type deal. Like, what are we supposed to actually feel about this couple if these are the scenes that we're getting? It's not working for me, obviously. I guess I will say on a positive note that the actor that plays Derek today was decent for once. I thought he was actually doing pretty decent today. The actress that plays Ashley, not so much. But at least I saw, for the first time, Derek being a little more real. Not as robotic as, say, Tomas. So he had that going for him today. But yeah, we're heading into May sweeps very nicely. I think May sweeps is going to be good. Maybe I'm being a little too positive, but I think with these 2 episodes especially, I feel like we're getting a good build to sweeps. Also, Guzza Jr. is a co-head writer on the show. He was known for his sweeps months on General Hospital. Yes, those sweeps months usually led to someone's death, which is also why I think Doug could die in May, honestly. But either way, I'm hoping he knows sweeps months need to be good. And I do feel like we're going to get some good shit coming up in May. So, and it really starts next week. That's when May sweeps really starts. So we're building up nicely. Oh, lastly, stick around. Trailer to the Traders competition reality show game coming up at the end of May.
I would fool people with my bubbly personality. Not afraid to be the villain. Not afraid to manipulate people.
No, I like the whole vibe from yesterday. I think, for the traders, I would say watch out because I see you.
14 players will enter the game.
42 years old in a couple weeks. I'm going to be trying out for a women's football tackle league.
I'm an attorney. I, for a living, have to figure out who's lying a lot.
New faces and familiar veterans will all clash to find the traitors among them.
I literally put Raven sus.
I probably should have saw this one.
I literally put sus for Raven.
How will the new faces figure out the game?
If I were a faithful, which I have never been in my entire life, based on anyway.
And can the veterans get along?
I've played a couple games with Mike before, and this is just like his MO, right?
If I'm gonna win a game like this, I'm gonna have to work around him or go through him.
You won't see me coming. Mwah.